Next, we're gonna do the center support. Be careful not to mix them up because this is the same length as the sides, but just easily to tell them apart is, although it has the 3 big holes for the cam lock nuts, right below the center cam lock hole there are 2 holes. I don't know if you can see them. Yep, there are 2 holes. These are for the basket, and in that we're going to insert 2 plastic pieces. We're gonna insert a wall plug. Now, I've already done the first one, but you can easily, they suggest you do this with a rubber mallet, but if you don't have a rubber mallet, like me, you can do this with the edge of a screwdriver. Just put it halfway in and gently, well, not gently, it requires a bit of force. Alright, it's in and it's never coming out. Now, be careful with this because this is, I think, exactly the size, the whole size of the cam lock screws. So put these here because you can never get this out afterwards. Let's do also the cam lock nuts. Again, arrow pointing outwards, so we can insert the cam lock screws later. Now, this is, we don't need to do anything else here because these are the holes for the shelf supports. I want to show you the hinges. They're soft close, and this part is a quick release. And it fell. Okay, so if you're wondering, it's easier to see it once before it goes on the cabinet, but there are these hooks here, and they go into these channels like so. Let me know. Let's see if you're seeing this. Okay, so they go into these channels. Actually, is it the other? Yes, it's the other side. So they go into these channels and you press and it clicks. Again, it releases. They only go one way. And this is the button. Okay, let's go. Now, what we're gonna do right now is the doors, the center piece between the doors. It has this faux aluminum vinyl. I don't know what kind of wrapping is this. We're gonna put in the cam lock screws, cam lock nuts. It has holes on both sides because this is structural support for the front. Okay, and this must be one of the most best supported, I'm gonna call it a perch because it's not an active shelf. Once it's once the door is closed, whatever you've put in, if it's bigger than a stamp, it's gonna prevent the door from closing. Okay, so this requires 3 cam lock nuts. Okay, put this to the side. And the last two cam lock nuts from the set. Okay, again, put this to the side, and here we're gonna equip the shelf part. Dowels, 2 of them, in between the 3 smaller holes for them. Okay, I need another cam lock screw, 3. Not 25. Gently does it. All right. Okay, now for the interesting bit. The hinges. Before you start hammering away at this, there is one part that would help us out preserve the door as best as we can, is to unscrew this just a couple of turns to get the nut. Do we see this? Focus. Good enough. Okay, so you see on this I've also unscrewed it a bit, because if the nut is screwed all the way in, the end part flares out, so it's a bit wider than the hole, and it's you might need a third hand for this. But what you do is, with the flathead, you support this, and with the Phillips, you unscrew it a couple of turns. All right? Now, let's start hammering away. All right, so what I figured to use is I have this wooden piece cut out that I have. I think it's gonna work even better than using a mallet, because a mallet is just gonna hammer unevenly at this. What we need to do is just put even pressure on this so it sinks in. This is because of these already inserted wall plugs. So it's just friction fit and it's a tight squeeze. Before starting to hammer, check if anybody's sleeping, because this is going to be loud. Okay, make sure it's in the holes. Now, this is the tricky part. Mind your fingers. Okay. Should have put something underneath this, but because the floor is clean, I'm not that concerned. Okay. Ready for the next door. All right, this one is done. On to the next door. Let's get this. Make sure it's in the hole. Another left tab just for good measure. Move on to the next one. Yeah, make sure both are in the holes. And we've broken our wood piece. Here it was just one good hit. Or two. Alright, that's good. Gave out at the last second. We're not gonna need this anymore. And I think we're ready to assemble. Oh no, wait. On the door, here we have to put in the wall plugs, which I mistakenly set in the center support piece that are for the basket. Actually, those wall plugs there were for actually the extension cord. These are for the basket. And we're not going to use the hammer, we're going to use the screwdriver. Okay. Once again, careful where you put those because you can get them out. And as you see, I've put in the styrofoam from the packaging here to reduce the impact. Should have done this on the other door. After we're done using the hammer, we're gonna turn in just with the screwdriver, not the drill. Just a couple of turns to tighten it up. This is flaring the wall plug inside. Okay. Alright, that's good. Do the same on the other door. And now it's time for the bottom piece. This one is a bit tricky, and there's only one right side to do it. Now, recognize the. Lift it up a bit. Now, on the side, on the short side, there are 3 holes here. Now, this is the side that we want right now. On this side, you're going to see 5 holes. This is the wrong side. So, now this is a bit of a Cro-Magnon way of doing it, but we have no choice. Again, I don't have a mallet. We're going to use a hammer and something in between, which is going to be this piece of wood. We're going to use these. The legs of the stand are going to screw into those. And we got to hammer them in. It can only go into one hole. Not the outermost one. The second one, you can easily check it by wiggling it. If it goes in, it's there. If it doesn't want to go in, that's the wrong hole. Okay. Yeah, we're ready. Let me just take off my watch. Let's do the second one. Again, it's a good idea to use the styrofoam. There are several types. There is one not so dense and a denser one. You're gonna figure it out pretty quick once you fill them in your hands. So use the denser one. Okay, we're in. Let's move the phone. Here's the centerpiece. We're gonna put in 4 here. Again, there are 3 holes here. We're gonna put it on the 2 end holes. The middle one we don't touch. Almost there. Just 2 more holes. And let me show you how it looks. This is how it's supposed to look. All right. Okay. Once those are in, this is actually pretty simple and smart. You see, those are Allen key holes. Does it focus? Yeah, you're gonna have to take my word for it. So, just screw them in. Just screw them in all the way. Afterwards, there are holes on the other side that you can use an Allen key to just level out all the feet. We're gonna flip this around and we are going to insert our remaining dowels. Okay, so the dowels should go. There are 3. There is a line of 3 holes in the middle. We skip the center hole because that's a through hole. And we put it on both ends. Just 2 on each set of 3 holes. And over here are the 5 holes, but we are only interested in the second and the fourth. Okay. This is the prep work to all done. We continue. And now for the assembly. Now we're gonna start with the 2 sides. Again, they only go one way. We've prepared the dowels and the cam lock screws on the back side. This is the back side. The front is where the hinges go for the doors. And let's point it a bit down. A bit better. Okay, all right. So we've done everything correctly. All the holes are gonna line up. The dowels as well. In place again, and we turn it clockwise. Yes. Okay. 180 degrees, meaning just half a turn. The arrow should be pointing, we start the arrow from pointing outwards and we turn it to point inwards. Same with this. gotta admit it screws in quite alright, quite tight. I like that. It's gonna be carrying quite a heavy load, so it needs to be. Okay, once we are done with this, we have to flip it over to put the bottom in. Not gonna be pretty. If you have a second person to help, they are welcome to do so. Just be gentle. And I'm just gonna grab the two sides. Okay. The bottom, you're gonna notice you have two leg hole screws, and you have in front of them a bit wider two through holes. This is your front. There is only one through hole at the back between the two legs. This is the back. Okay, let's line everything up. Over here as well. Good. So far, I'm really liking the assembly process on these. We have to screw in the bottom. It's two types of screws. Now, the bigger one here, this one, with the Allen key head, we're gonna screw in with the Allen key. Now at the back there are 4 holes that we are gonna use those screws, and we're gonna drill them in with the cordless drill. I have an Allen key provided in the set. I wouldn't want to just tighten it like this because it's gonna play with the sides of the wood, so it's best just support with your thumb. It's gonna be slower like this, but you're only gonna do this once, hopefully. When you start hearing the wood to crunch up, stop. You've gone not too far, but you're just at the point where we should stop. Good. Next one. These are a bit tricky because the leg is in the way, but you can easily remove it. Okay. This part here is the front, so nothing here for now. Let's do just the other side as well. Nice and steady, not to strip the wood. Okay, after the second or third bolt, you're gonna get a feel for when to stop. Just be careful with the first few. Okay, good. Now we're going to use the drill with the PZ2. Yeah, it could go with the one as well. Try to center them. Nice and slow. Out of 20 resistance clicks, I am on 7. Nice and slow. And try to do it as straight as possible. Okay, last one.